Hey guys, this is Jesper from SchemaWriter, and in this video I'm going to show you how you can use SchemaWriter to spy on your competition's entities. So this is a new feature that we just rolled out, and when you click on SchemaWriter here and you can see all your reports, you will be able to notice this new button here called Data. And when I click on this guy here, I will now be able to see a complete list of the URLs that we have scraped, and also all of the entities that we have found in these URLs. So the way that SchemaWriter works is that you enter this target keyword, and then this target URL, and then the country, of course, also. And then SchemaWriter goes out to Google, searches for this keyword, and visits these 10 websites on the list, and then it scrapes the entities from the content. So what you're seeing here is that Umbraco has 95 entities, and that's in the content. It's not in the umbraco.com schema if they have any schema. So that's just important to keep in mind. This is the so what you're seeing here is the foundation. That's the basis for the entity recommendations that we come with in the report itself. So when I go back here and I click on View, and I click on content, for example, here, and so these are the sorted entities, sorted by relevance to the target page here. So all of these entities that you see here, that's a mix of the entities from the content and then from the competition, and yeah. So that's so where do these entities come from? Well, they come from these URLs, as you can see here. So that's actually where we find these URLs. We find them in your website, and we also find them in these URLs. So you can click on this guy here, and then you can see it's sorted here. So HTTP, this entity appears 50 times alone in this page. Forgery 1 time, model view controller, and so on and so forth. So this is so these are the entities that you see here, and then we have also shown you the entities where if they use entities in the H1, we show it here, and if they use entities in their H2s, we show it here. So that's, I think it gives a nice overview. If you're doing on-page SEO, it's nice to see, well, what are they doing, how are they ranking, and obviously, for example, schema.org, no need to explain that schema.org is not ranking because they have entities in the H1 and the H2. They're ranking because they are schema.org, basically. So if you're searching for web page schema, of course schema.org will be on page 1. It makes sense. So yeah, so you see the URL, and then in the first parenthesis you see how many times, how many unique entities they have. And then you see how many entities in H1, how many entities in H2s on this URL. And if you scroll down, you can then we're then presenting you with how many URLs, unique entities per URL on page 1 is an average. So this an average of 151 unique entities per URL on page 1. That's actually a lot of entities, but of course that also, it does depend on the keyword, I should say, because a keyword like web page schema would, same as if you search for entity SEO or semantic SEO, stuff like that. Keywords like those, you would get returned a list of URLs with a lot of entities naturally, because when you're searching for keywords like this, you will encounter websites with where the website owner knows a lot about his topic, and they know that they need to put a lot of entities. They need to put a lot of keyword variations and explanations into their content in order to rank. So obviously, web page schema, marketing related keywords, you will encounter a lot of entities. That makes sense. So unique entities, we show that average for page 1 on this for this keyword 151. And this is also interesting, the total number of entities. So that's where we're saying number 1 is occurring 50 times. So now it's 50, 51, 52, 54, 56. So this is the accumulated total. And that's 526 entities per URL on page 1. So that's actually a lot of entities for this particular keyword. And we also represent it for you graphically, so visually, so you can actually see what is the correlation. And this is of course very interesting, because it seems that there is a negative correlation for this keyword. In other words, for this keyword, for this search results, it seems that entities is not a ranking factor, and it actually does make sense when you are looking at schema.org and so SEMrush, Stack Overflow, Search Engine Journal. Some of these websites, extremely powerful websites. I mean, they're not ranking because they have entities. They're ranking because they have a gazillion links. So that makes sense. Yeah. So you can see here that we map here the total number of entities and the number of unique entities. So these are different here. So you can see here on the y-axis, it goes up to 1,200 for this graph, the total number of entities, and for the unique entities, it goes up to 400. So the unique entities will of course always be smaller than the total amount of entities. And if I click on excluded domains here, I can see that I actually excluded a lot of domains when I ran this particular report. So Wikipedia, support.google, developers.google, Reddit, and so on and so forth. So I tried to run the same report where I didn't exclude URLs. So this is this one here. So you can see here in this instance, I did not exclude any URLs, and that's interesting because now I see a positive correlation for occurrence of entities in the content. So if you're watching this video and you're thinking, now I can use this to figure out if entities is a ranking factor, I'm saying to you, I'm actually explaining to you that yes, you can actually do that, and I am shooting a video that I'm going to publish about that. You can use this to find out if entities is a correlation factor for ranking, but I mean, it depends. You really need to know what you're doing. So because you can see Google is not ranking because of entities. Schema is not ranking because they have a lot of entities. Developers.google is not ranking because they have a lot of entities. I mean, these guys, they're ranking because they are who they are, basically, right? So it's just a thing to keep in mind. But you can see here, for this report, I did not exclude domains, and then it is telling me that it's 128 entities per URL. And in the other report, I did exclude, let's see here, I did exclude all these entities, and now it's saying 150 entities per URL. So yeah, what you can do is you can go to schema settings here and scroll down, and you can see the list of domains that I choose to exclude each time. Wikipedia, support Google, Reddit, Quora, Medium, all these guys, because I know that if I see a result from Reddit ranking, it might have a lot of entities, might not have a lot of entities. But if I see a search result from Reddit ranking, I know that it's not ranking because of its on-page SEO. It's ranking because it's Reddit, because we know that Google likes to rank Reddit results. Same thing with Quora. And the reason that I choose to exclude Yelp is because if I see Yelp ranking, I know that it's because it's Yelp. It's got nothing to do with how many or how few entities they have. And depending on your particular use case and your particular business, you might want to exclude more domains, but it's very easy. You just you have to include the subdomain also. So www is actually a subdomain of the root domain. So that's just how we have implemented that, and I can click save. So let me go back again, and in this detail here, you can actually also see the number of excluded domains and what they are. That's actually also included here. So the next step is very interesting, and that's the data. And you can click on data here. And what you will be able to see here is that you will be able to see an accumulation of all your reports. So just a thing to keep in mind that we roll this out on Saturday the 1st of February 2025. So you cannot go further back than Saturday, but I can select the user. I've selected the schema writer team, and I'm selecting from the 1st to the 9th, that's today, apply, and I will click extract. So what I'm seeing now is I'm seeing a report across, a total report across all of the reports that I have run, because you can see reports, the 9th, the 9th, the 9th, the 6th, and so on and so forth. And you can see test company, these are all the tests that I made for myself. And when I click, and this is where it gets interesting, when I click here, I can see the correlation for the reports that I've run, and these are the unique entities. And when I click here, I can see the correlation for the unique entity, for the total amount of entities. So unique entities, total entities, unique, total. So for the keywords that I have analyzed in the reports that I have run so far, you can see that the average amount of entities on position 1 across all of niches, all the keywords that I have run for the 32 reports that I have run so far, the amount of entities in position 1 is 52, and the amount of entities in position 10 is 84 unique entities. And it's 190 total and 345 total amount of entities in the URL. This is on average across my reports. And this number, this is very interesting to me, because it actually, when you're looking at these numbers, it actually seems that there is a negative correlation, so to speak, there is a negative dependency between the occurrence of entities and the content and its ranking. I know that's not the case, but I'm just saying to you that's how it looks like. And the reason that it looks like this is because I did not use the exclusion of domains when I ran these reports, and I did not do that because this exclusion of these domains, we just launched that today. So what I will do now is I will run a lot of reports in my entity study to see how does this work, because I know from testing that the inclusion of entities in the content is a ranking factor, but I also know that if I search for a particular keyword, for example web page schema, and I see schema.org, I see Google, I see Stack Overflow and Google, well, I know that for this particular keyword it will then appear, it will not give me a true active correlation. What will happen with my content if I add entities to my content? Will it go up? Will it go down? So yeah, so that's why I added these this option to exclude domains in when you're running your reports. So I recommend that you take these social media, YouTube, Instagram, Pinterest, LinkedIn, Reddit, Quora, and then I found that support Google and developers Google also pop up from time to time if you're searching for more technical terms, and then of course Wikipedia also. Perhaps it actually should be like this, en.wikipedia, I think. Yeah, so that's it for this report. I hope you enjoyed it, guys. Take care.